A couple years back when I was in college, I was the victim of a long-term stalker. I am a male, 20 at the time. It started out fairly innocuous. On Valentine's Day, I started to receive secret admirers type text messages from an unknown number. I assumed it was a friend of mine playing a joke, as I was in a room with a handful of tech-savvy people at the time. I tried to gauge their reactions and asked if anyone was messing with me. They all denied it, and I believed them. They're pretty bad liars. It was further confirmed that it was none of them when I got a phone call from the number. A voice on the other end said, "Is this Dylan?" I replied, "Yes." "Who is this?" Hoping I could identify the voice. At that point, they hung up and resumed texting. Things started to get weird when the person began asking pretty personal questions, including repeatedly asking, "Are you doing something tonight?" To which I replied, "Yes, I was working, but they kept insisting we should meet up." On top of all this, I was getting various images sent to me from a separate email, username at textnow.me. This confirmed it wasn't a real number, and I now had a username to connect to the person. I don't know if it was their intention, but I actually enjoy trying to figure out shit like this, and took it upon myself to expose this person without giving away anything about myself. So I kept it up. I texted them back for a while and dug more and more information about the person, compiling it into a profile and eliminating possibilities. Unfortunately, this just encouraged them, as they insisted I send pictures. Take pictures, they add to the convo, etc. Then they sent a weird one. A white, lacy dress hanging in their closet with the accompanying text, "My wedding dress for when I marry you." They continued to pry about where I was going to be that evening, and I still refused to give details. Then they dropped where they were going to be, a party on campus that night. I couldn't go regardless. I was working. Then I got another bombshell. They asked if I lived in apartment 68, which I did. I recognized the style of apartment they were, and based on a picture from earlier, so I decided I'd throw a curveball. "You live in this complex, right?" "What? How do you know?" I said, "I recognized your door." All the shitty apartments had the same color door frame, which was visible in the edge of a picture they sent. The conversation kind of fizzled out here. I didn't go to that party and didn't get any more texts. Fast forward to October, the following school year, I was a senior and busy as hell. One evening I got a text from an unknown number. "Is this Dylan?" So I played dumb, pretended like I wasn't freaking out that after many months, this person was contacting me again, and I still hadn't figured out who it was. These questions were instantly more personal and really weirded me out. Don't ruin the fun. Not knowing who I am is part of the mysteries. I won't tell you who I am. Not now. Too much to lose. I don't want you to know. Not because I'm being cruel. It's just better if you didn't know. I'm pretty tired of this shit and trying to work, but I do want to see if I can pick out any more details, so I'm doing the bare minimum to keep this going. This is December. At the end of the semester, they proceeded to call me multiple times. I denied every call, but they kept coming. I think there were 14 calls that night. I turned my phone off. The following week, I was in the class I was a TA in. Students were presenting their final work on the projector, and I had queued multiple tabs on the projection computer. 2 different students had work on Google Drive. When the second student logged into their account, they didn't open a private window, so it logged out the first student. I saw this happen, but the first student wasn't in the room, so when she came back, I asked her to re-log in. We were both standing in the projection booth. She was at one end of the computer, and I was messing with the sound system on the other side, but happened to turn and look at the projector screen when she was logging into Google. This hit me like a ton of bricks. The username she logged in with was the same username as the Text Now account that had been sending me photos. I quickly turned away and pretended to be busy with something until she finished opening her work. I thanked her, and she left the booth without realizing her mistake. I tried to play it cool, but inside I was going crazy for the rest of the class. After almost a year, I knew who it was. She finally slipped up, and honestly, I was much more scared now than I had ever been. This person had a history of being pretty creepy around my friends, and although she had never personally interacted with me outside of class, all my friends had strange experiences. I set up a meeting with a counselor who seemed to really care and offered to look into it. A couple weeks later, he emailed me saying this student is going abroad next semester, so we're not going to do anything. I insisted that at least something temporary be put into place. They didn't do anything, but what did I expect? This school is pretty notorious for not giving a damn. I didn't run into her again. She hasn't texted me either. So, for the time being, that is where the story ends.